everyone, it's your girl Sarita. Welcome back to the Sinchi Pod. There have been a few changes. I got a mic. Hopefully you can hear the difference. You can hear good quality. If not, we'll find out, It's been a great summer. I've been super busy with work and life, and so much stuff has happened. And within this timeline of life things happening, I thought about independence. All of my friends are in relationships. A lot of people that I'm close to have a partner now. My sister's getting married. My best friend is getting married. One of the girls I knew in high school just got married. It's a lot of getting married. A lot of weddings are happening. A lot of engagements are happening. And I am happy for everyone who is experiencing this great love in their life. Truly. I was thinking about an experience I had throughout this time, Believe it or not, crazy stuff. I did almost get married once. It was an interesting situation. And just to put it into perspective, I had a wedding dress and everything. All right. I was locked down with this guy. We ended up living together for a little bit. And then when we parted ways, I was devastated. And I remember thinking, I changed who I was for you. I sacrificed everything for you. And now you're leaving me like I'm nothing. That was what was going through my head. And it made me think about every girl that's getting engaged or getting married. And I'm thinking, I hope with everything in me, I hope that you are living the way that you want to live, and that this person is coexisting with you while you live in your happy way, in your happy life, And if I had heard these things, if I had heard something like this, like what this episode is, before I even got involved with this guy, I might have saved myself a lot of trouble. I would have led a completely different life from the moment I met him to the moment I'm here right now, And so it's kind of why I'm thinking, and why I thought of, thinking about, relationships and independence and the power of living you, before the ring. And this episode really, it's about the space between becoming a woman and becoming a wife. It's about claiming your identity, your goals and your pleasures, and living life at your pace without asking permission. Because before the ring, before cohabitation, before the compromise, there was always you, and you are enough to fill a whole life. Maybe you've been told that your ambition is intimidating. Maybe you've been told that your femininity is performance. And maybe you've been told that love looks like sacrifice. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be. You could sacrifice something. Compromising isn't terrible. It's not a bad thing. This is just your reminder that love should never cost you yourself. Oh, I don't know if you heard me accidentally hit the mic. So, independence is not a rebellion. When we talk about independence and being an independent woman and, girls like, I'm an independent woman, it's really, really misunderstood. It's not a rejection of love. It's not a refusal to settle down. It's not rebellion for rebellion's sake. You're not independent. Oh, I don't want to marry. I don't want to have anything. I'm independent. I don't need that. It can be if you want to be alone and you don't want to get married, or you don't want love, or maybe you do want love, but you don't want to settle down and have a family. You want to have love without having the kids and everything. That's not wrong. Independence in its most elegant form really is about being undiluted. It's about living in your full identity before you shape yourself around anyone else's. It's coming home to an apartment that reflects your taste. It's spending your money without guilt. It's building your future without waiting for someone to hand you permission. And it doesn't mean that you don't love. It just means that you know how to love without disappearing. Elegance doesn't mean sacrifice. There is this outdated idea that, being elegant, being a good wife means being agreeable, or being even a good partner, or what have you. And that loving luxury somehow disqualifies you from being taken seriously. But here's what I know. All right. You can love Chanel and chase a degree, whatever field you want. You know, you can be like Elle Woods in court and wear heels to brunch, you know, and you can own a walk-in closet and have a big fancy corner office. You know, it's not about shrinking yourself into someone else's expectations. It's about expanding on your own. Loving nice things doesn't make you shallow. I feel like the best character I really do look up to is Elle Woods, because technically she did go to Harvard to chase after the boyfriend that broke up with her, right? But she learned her potential, right? She was always treated like a bit of a bimbo because she liked nice things and pink and cutesy, and she was always kind of this bubbly girl. And she's kind of like this inspiration for all girls who are bright and colorful, that you can be bright and colorful and have a serious job and be taken seriously. It does take a bit of proving yourself, but it is possible. And this is where I'm thinking, like, where I'm kind of like back to the subject, right? It's not about shrinking yourself into someone else's expectations. It's about expanding on your own, and about how loving nice things doesn't make you shallow. You know, what brings you joy? And if you know what brings you joy, don't be afraid to claim it. So if your partner doesn't understand why you want YSL heels or why your skincare budget rivals an Ivy League education, you know, it's your life. And you need to remind yourself of that. And until someone is your husband, you don't owe them compromise. And we'll get back to the husband thing, because I'll elaborate on that a little bit here in a bit. But, you know, there's something sacred about being a main character, you know, and having this main character phase in your life. A lot of people hate on it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's kind of rooting yourself and who you are first. It's when you live alone because you want to, or, you know, when you want to buy a martini on Wednesday, or even buy a pair of shoes that you have no business buying just because. You know, it's when you sleep in your perfume and write in your journal and romanticize your routine like you're living in a movie. And I am so guilty of this. Like, sometimes I'll go out by myself and order myself a cocktail for me by myself because I like it, because it makes me feel great. You know, I don't live alone. I live with my family because, you know, rent is expensive and I'm only 22. So I have some time to, you know, finish school and settle down before I, you know, figure out my life. But my room is like my safe space. It's my haven. I would treat it like it was my own apartment. You know, I love it. I have my own little ballet studio at home that I built because, you know what, God knows when I'm going to have my own apartment when I live alone, and I'll have my ballet studio in my 2-bedroom apartment. You know, it's like a ridiculous idea, but it's something that I love to think about. So instead of waiting for it to happen, I just do it. You know, I do sleep in my perfume every night. It's ridiculous, but it makes me feel beautiful. It makes me feel elegant. I journal. I romanticize my life. I write. Sometimes I write about my life like I'm in a novel because it's fun. It makes me happy. This era is not a holding period. This is not the before to my life. This is my life. And I need to start living it right now, because so many women trade it away so soon. You know, they fall in love and they fold into someone else's blueprint before they've even explored their own. You deserve to live your it girl era. You deserve to work hard, party harder, fail, build yourself up again without anyone asking you to tone it down. You need to let yourself be that girl, even if it is just for a little while. You will never regret living fully, but you will always regret shrinking too soon. Love shouldn't cost you your identity. Let's be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we fall in love with good men. They're kind, they're steady, they're smart, and yet even then, we still try to edit ourselves. We stop doing things they don't approve of, not because they force us, but because we love them, right? And we tone down our dreams. You know, we cut back on the things we like. We consider lives we never would have chosen before. And I've seen this so many times. There have been so many times, you know, where, well, yeah. I'm thinking, should I, you know, go with my script, or should I just veer off on whatever road I'm going on? There have been so many times where I have seen people tell my sister to give up on going to med school because she's getting married. She and her boyfriend are in long distance relationships right now because he's in the military. So he's all the way in Nevada. We live in South Carolina. And the amount of times this girl has been told to forfeit her dreams to go and be his wife. And one thing that inspires me so much about her is she was like, okay, that's your opinion. And I'm still going to go to med school. And now she's in medical school. And she's chasing her dreams of helping people, which is something she's always wanted to do. And it's this whole scenario that really got me into thinking. I love how my sister, she never erased herself. And this is where my script was like, that's when you have to ask yourself, is this evolution or erasure? You know, trying to be like all poetic and everything. But honestly, I see so many women do that. They change themselves for the boyfriend they have or the husband they have or fiance or what have you. My sister, she's in love. They coexist together fine. He's all the way in Nevada still. Guess what? They're still stronger than ever. Nothing has changed about them because she's still who she is and he is still who he is. And the great thing about their relationship is she chose herself and he still loved that for her. He wasn't like, you need to change yourself. You need to live the life I want you to live. She's like, no, it was never even a conversation. All of these opinions on her changing herself never came from her partner. It came from other people. Her partner didn't care because he likes her for who she is, no matter what she chooses to do. So if she chose to stay with him, he would have loved her the same way he loves her now, that she chose herself. Because at the end of the day, when she evolves and becomes a better person, it'll be because she wants to. But she's not going to erase her identity for the sake of a partner. Now, this is where I'm going to kind of go back to the original point where it's like, you know, when you feel like you kind of tone down on your dreams, your passions, and, you know, you stop doing the things you enjoy as much. If the person you're becoming is softer, healthier, and more whole, that's one thing. But if the person you're becoming is quieter and smaller and less bold, that's when you have to ask yourself if love is too much for you. And not that love is a bad thing, but maybe you haven't met the right partner yet. You're not a placeholder. Until there is a ring on your finger, you're not someone's wife. You're not obligated to build your life around theirs. You're not a placeholder for their future. You are your own person. You have your own blueprint, and it's not selfish to follow it. If a partner wants you to rearrange your goals and your career and your dreams to fit into their timeline without making you their wife first, you have every right to say no. And you can still love them. But you don't have to lose yourself for them. This is the part where I was kind of going on about how, you know, my sister's boyfriend, their fiance, this is a very new thing. They're just recently engaged. But her fiance, you know, she is her own woman. She has her own dreams, her own ambitions. She's chasing after that. And he still loves her. And he's not just going to dump her just because she has her own dreams and ambitions. And if a guy does, you know, break up with you because they're like, oh, you know, I want this and you want that. And, you know, it's just different. They're not a bad person for wanting different things. And it's not a bad relationship because things didn't work out because you wanted different things. You know, there's always got to be a bad guy, right? We feel that all the time. There doesn't have to be a bad guy. You know, he doesn't have to be bad. He can just be different, and you can be different, and that's it. Sometimes you're just different, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need to live you, though. So before the ring, before the white dress, before this co-signed lease and shared grocery bill, there is you, and you are worth living for. So buy the bag, start the business, apply to law school, book the flight, live like you're already everything you dream of becoming because you are. Let them fall in love with you at your fullest and at your freest. And if they can't, let them go. Because you weren't born to be in someone's shadow. You were born to be seen. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's like a random thing, like just going on this rant. Thank you so much for sitting with me today and basically listening to my rant. I I really feel like this needed to be said. This was something that I wish I heard years ago. This is something that maybe some girl is out there and you just happen to run into this, or guy, right? And you happen to run into this episode and you're thinking, damn, shit, I need to get it together. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to be afraid of choosing yourself. That's another thing, you know? I know I'm kind of ending, but let me also have this ending a little bit, like, to add to it. Sometimes when people are like, you know what, this partnership isn't for me anymore, you know, like this person and I clearly don't align and I've changed too much for them. You know, it's okay to be afraid of choosing you and being like, you know what, I need to depart from this person and figure out who I am. But I'm scared because I haven't been alone in maybe, say, 6 years. You know, it's okay to be afraid of that. It's also okay to be like, okay, you know what? I haven't gotten a chance to be myself. So I'm going to go ahead and discover that. And I'm going to be with this partner while I'm discovering myself. And if this partner doesn't like that, I have to start accepting that this may not work out. Because like I said, you weren't born to be in someone's shadow. You were born to be seen. So thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to follow the podcast. We are only on Spotify. So I want to expand like Apple and stuff. Like I really don't know how to do that. So one thing at a time, you know. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I can't talk anymore. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the blog, sinchivida.com. I will have everything linked in the description. So until next time, stay elegant, stay powerful, and never apologize for choosing yourself.